It looks big from the inside.
Well, that's what they say. I mean, this would have been the largest building for about 250 square miles for where it was built. And it would have served as their town hall, their church, and also their schoolhouse.
Wow.
Huge tract of land, opened it up for settlement. Basically doubled the size of the country. Huge tract of land. Northwest Ordinance. Who wrote the Northwest Ordinance? A guy you've never heard of. Manasseh Knott. He was a Puritan minister, New England preacher from Puritan New England. And the first people began to say, you know what? I think maybe slavery is wrong. Who were those people? Puritans. Even in colonial times, they were writing about it, giving sermons about it. You know, Jesus didn't have a slave. Maybe I shouldn't have a slave. They were the ones who said, I think it's morally wrong to own slaves. Puritans. So now, the American Revolution comes. Manasseh Cutler writes this legislation to open up this Northwest Territory. And in it, he inserts a sentence or two that says, oh, by the way, I'm not going to have any slaves here. This is going to be free soil. And this was at a time when there were still at least some slaves, even in the northern states. Not many, but some. And they were quickly making it illegal. They were quickly abolishing it after the revolution. That was one of the other first things they started doing, too, was getting rid of it. Anyway, Manasseh Cutler, guy you've never heard of, writes this legislation. And then another guy you've never heard of, Rufus Putnam, who was this guy's chief engineer. He designed forts and stuff like that. Like he designed one of the big forts at West Point and other things. George Washington thought this guy was a genius, and he probably was. Anyway, Manasseh Cutler writes the legislation. Rufus Putnam gathers up a whole bunch of Revolutionary War veterans and says, come on with me. We're going to go settle this new territory. Oh, and by the way, not going to be any slavery here. No slaves. Got it? Okay, cool. Come on, let's go. So they do. They go out to Ohio, and they settle this Northwest Territory. Now fast forward to the election of 1860. This guy gets elected. Abe Lincoln, that's it, yeah. The first Republican president. The Republican Party is founded as the anti-slavery party, right? Okay, yeah. Do you think he would have gotten elected if Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota had been slave states? Maybe not. Do you think, even if he had gotten elected, that the Civil War would have been fought if Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota had been slave states? Maybe not. And even if the Civil War had been fought, do you think the North would have won? Without Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota? Not bloody likely. So there's an example where two guys you've never heard of, Manasseh Cutler, who wrote the Northwest Territory Ordinance, and Rufus Putnam, George Washington's chief engineer, who founded it as free soil, no slavery, dramatically changed American history. Two guys you've never heard of. And you'll hear historians, they'll say, oh, well, you know, it's not so much about individual people. History's all about big trends and movements and stuff. I beg to differ. Individual people matter. Manasseh Cutler matters. Rufus Putnam mattered. That guy mattered. That guy mattered. Particularly when you think, what would happen if that guy hadn't gotten elected? Or that guy hadn't been picked as commander-in-chief. And one of the other clowns who thought he should be commander-in-chief was our commander-in-chief instead. Individual people matter. You matter. The life decisions you make matter. The type of person you become matters. Particularly in a democracy, where you're not just being ordered around by some king or someone else who thinks he's better than you. Your decisions matter. you're just going, I don't believe any of this. This guy's making this stuff up. Good for you. Be skeptical. Don't believe a word I said. Go home and look it up. And don't just look it up in one place. Look it up in 5 places. They might not all agree.